This is Brian with Vermillion Enterprises. Today is Thursday, February 9th, 2023. This is our third video this week, Tim. And
third video.
People are going to start to hate to see my face. But we're going to put out another video because we talked yesterday a little bit about reporting requirements when it comes time to sell precious metals, which is something that everyone who is investing in precious metals at a serious level should definitely know and be aware of. And a lot of questions were circulating around what is known as Form 1099-B, which is a tax schedule put out by the IRS, and it's something that can be triggered when selling certain thresholds of precious metals. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I got this pulled up. This is a PDF that is available online. Is that, you can see that, Tim?
Yes, sir.
So you can find this. Just go into Google, type in 2023 1099-B instructions, and this will pull right up. It's a PDF made by the Department of made by the IRS. And then if you go to page 5 on here, it talks specifically about precious metals. Let's go all the way down. As you can see, this is not the most fun read. And then you get here, page 5 in the left column, it talks about the sales of precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. So, and it gets into talking about what the Commodities Futures Trading Commission has approved in the way of the regulated futures contract, which in a very convoluted way dictates which precious metals and at what volume they have to be reported in a 1099-B when the sale comes through. So you can, that's all available online. You can read it at your at your leisure, if you will. It's a horribly boring read, but it is there for you to take a look at. And if you're a serious investor or stacker, something that at some point in time you probably need to have a conversation with your accountant about. So that is there. Now, the questions yesterday were, okay, well, what metals and what coins and at what thresholds will it trigger a Form 1099-B? So this all came out in the early 80s when these reporting laws or 1099-B laws came into effect for precious metals. So I'm not sure the exact date, but somebody that is in the know told me 1981 was when this started. So I was 2 years old in 1981. At that point, gold was about $460 per ounce, give or take. That was what I saw on the charts for January 1, 1981. So that just kind of puts it into perspective of what was going on in the world at that time. So what would trigger a Form 1099-B being filed on your behalf? So if you sell generic rounds or bars that are at least a kilo in size, or a combination of what would be 32.15 ounces in total. If you sell that in one clip, that is going to trigger a 1099-B. So you can have like just 1 kilo bar, or you can have over 32 1-ounce bars would trigger it, or any combination of that. 64 half-ounce bars, and so forth and so on. So that would trigger a 1099-B. And not that, that's a pretty significant load of gold, right? But you remember in 1981 when this came out, gold was $460 an ounce, so nowhere near what it is today. But the thing is, too, to trigger, it would be 32.15 ounces or more. So if you sold, let's say, 20 ounces at a time, for example, it would not trigger 1099-B. And I'm not saying that to try to show you how to skirt around that, but just showing that there are levels. So if you exceed the level, it triggers it. If you're below the level, it does not trigger it. Same with Form 8300 when it comes time to report cash transactions. So if you sell 32.15 ounces of gold in the way of generic bars or rounds, any combination of the sort at one shot, it will trigger the form. And is that coming up pretty clear on there, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so at the time, the forms of 1 ounce gold bullion out there were maple leafs, Krugerrands, and Mexican onzas. And so also those, if you sell more than 25, if you sell 25 or more in one clip, that would trigger Form 1099B. You remember this is 1901, so not even Eagles weren't even out yet. So you got 5 more years until Gold Eagles are even out. There was none of the Australian stuff out at that time. There was really, it was just those 3. And the other bullion coins at the time were like sovereigns and German marks and francs, and all of those are below 1 ounces. So they're all below 1 ounce coins. So they just don't fit in this category. Now, since then though, the RFC list has expanded. And so recent additions would also include Australian gold. So if you sold 25 or more ounces of the Australian gold coins, now these are 1 ounce gold coins, of the 1 ounce British pounds being the Britannias, or 25 or more of the 1 ounce euros, which would be your Philharmonics. So if you sold 25 or more of those also, it would trigger a 1099B. Now this is at one shot, guys, within a 24-hour period. So if you came in into a shop and you sold 25 1 ounce Krugerrands in one shot or more, it would trigger Form 1099B. Now if you went into a shop and you sold 20 of them, for example, that would not trigger a 1099B. And that's for every 24 hours. Now the thing is too though, you can't say, okay, I'm coming into the shop on Monday and I'm going to sell 20 ounces of Krugerrands and then tell the shop owner, hey, I'll be back tomorrow and sell you another 20 ounces. You can't do that, because that is showing that you're trying to subvert the whole process. So you just go about your business, if you do decide to sell over 25 1 ounce coins at a time that fit in these parameters here, it will trigger Form 1099B. Now the good thing is, we talked yesterday, Gold Eagles and Gold Buffaloes are exempt from that because they're based on the US dollar. Someone asked me yesterday also, spouse coins. They have a $10 denomination based on the US dollar. Are they part of this, will they trigger 1099B at any level? No. Spouse coins would not trigger a 1099B sale at any level. Just like the US commemorative coins, like those $5 and $10 commems that you get in the with the silver dollar sets, those also would not trigger a 1099B submission. So it's just these foreign 1 ounce gold coins if you sell more 25 or more in a shot. Now, if you have a substantial stack investment, hoard of physical precious metals, get your accountant online with what you're doing. Make sure they understand, and they can provide you with the proper guidance that you need in the way when it comes time to sell. And so if you're going to sell a substantial amount of your precious metals in one shot, talk to your accountant before you do it. Get everything lined up. Understand what your tax obligation is going to do or going to be required of you before you make that decision to sell. Because it's always better to know something going in to the situation than try to figure it out afterwards when it's already done. So just keep that in mind. And again, as we've mentioned many times, we're not financial advisors. But the only advice I'm going to give you, that I can give you in this situation, is talk to your accountant. Make sure both of you are on the same page. If you have a substantial holding of precious metals that you might think about selling in large chunks. So if you're always ever going to sell your precious metals, as you need to sell them. So we got lots of guys that come in and do this. Older generations that stack tons of gold and silver. And it's basically their 401 or their retirement plan, right? So when they have an expense, they come in and sell a Krugerrand, or they come in and sell, 100 face of junk 90, and as they need it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing reportable about that. They just come in, they sell their goods. We pay them out in cash, and they go about their way. And that's really it. That's all there is to it. But if you decide, hey, for whatever reason, maybe you want to buy a new property. Maybe you want to pay off some existing debt or something, and that requires you to sell a significant chunk of your stack. I recommend talking to your accountant before you do so you just understand that tax obligation before before you pull the trigger on that. Does that make sense, Tim?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think so. Sometimes I'm saying this stuff and it makes sense to me. I just like to hear that it makes sense to somebody else that's actually hearing it, and not sound convoluted or it's like, wait, that doesn't make sense type of thing. So that's why I asked him that. All right, so that's for gold. Now let's talk about silver, platinum, and palladium. So in 1981, when this all came about, silver was about $11 per ounce, which is amazing, right? Because silver is only, what is it, like $23 an ounce right now? So we're about $12 over what it was in 1981.
And gold was at $450, you said?
Yeah. So gold's at, for all intents and purposes, 1900 now, and silver's at 23.
Interesting.
Yeah, so silver has a little more than doubled, and gold has almost quadrupled.
Yeah.
So it's gold was definitely the play in 1981, that's for sure. What do we got for silver, Tim? If you sell 1,000 ounces of more of generic silver, got a typo there. Not silver, just silver. Let's go ahead and do that. In any combination, so this can be a combination of 1 ounce bars, 1 ounce rounds. It could be all 1 ounce rounds. It could be a combination of like some 100 ounce bars with 1 ounce rounds and 10 ounce bars. Any combination, if it's 1,000 ounces or more, it will trigger a Form 1099-B. Now, this is probably something that shops will run into more often than people wanting to come in and sell like a kilo of gold. But there's a ton of physical silver out there, guys. I mean, we've sold, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of ounces of physical silver. So, I mean, it is out there. This is something that people are more apt to run into when trying to dissolve their stack. So, just remember, anything 1,000 ounces or more out of clip will trigger the form and of any combination of generic silver. Now, 90% silver. So if you sell $1,000 face value at a time, which is known as a full bag in the industry, it will trigger a 1099-B form. Now, that's any combination too of junk 90. So it doesn't have to be just all dimes, all quarters, or whatever. It's any combination. Which I always thought was kind of interesting because a full bag of 90, 1,000 face value, is only 715 ounces of silver. So it doesn't, it kind of seems, all this is archaic and arbitrary, but it is the set of rules that we have to operate within. So, if you sell less than 1,000 face value, it will not trigger a Form 1099-B, but if you sell 1,000 face or more at a time, it will. And that is any combination of denominations. So that's not just all quarters, all dimes, any combination. Now what's neat about this is the Silver Eagles are exempt from this. So if you sell Silver Eagles, it will not trigger Form 1099-B. So, and the way I understand it, same with Maple Leafs or Silver Krugerrands. That is my understanding also. So it's just for generic silver bars and rounds, and it's just for junk 90. So just keep that in mind. And then the last two remaining items, palladium and platinum. Platinum, 1981, platinum was about $450 per ounce. It's about doubled, I guess, that since now. It's little between 900 and 1,000. So that didn't go up like, it went up. It was actually up to about $2,000, and then it came crashing back down. Same with the generic, with the platinum and generic rounds and bars, 25 ounces or more, guys, will trigger a 1099-B. And that's any combination. It doesn't have to be a 25 ounce bar. It can be 10 1 ounce bars and 15 1 ounce rounds or whatever. Any combination that has 25 ounces or more will trigger that. And that leaves palladium. Palladium in 1981 was about $150 per ounce. That was a great play if someone had the foresight to invest in palladium and then dump when it got to about 2,500. Because that metal moved the most probably in the last 40 years. Yeah, that would definitely have been the play, because that would have gotten you about 10, 15 times your money.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, at the height when Palladium was $2,500. Now it's back down to I think like 1,500. So Palladium and Platinum probably will drop as the recession goes on because they are truly metals that are price determined by the economy in the sense that the better the economy is doing, the better that Platinum and Palladium do because they're consumed mostly during industrial processes, and that's where the biggest bulk of need comes from. So Palladium, 100 ounces or more, guys. So you can sell up to 100 ounces or more of generic rounds and bars of Palladium, and that at the 100 ounce mark, that's when it triggers Form 1099B. So anything under that, no triggering of the 1099B. So there's a lot of questions swirling around this yesterday. Hopefully that clears up some of it. And then also just remember, if you sell or if you come into the shop and spend more than $10,000 in cash, that triggers Form 8300. You can be paid out more than $10,000 in cash. That will not trigger a Form 8300. It's just incoming cash. And the only thing with outgoing is if you sell any of these SKUs at these levels, it will trigger 1099B. Hopefully that clears up some of the confusion. If not, always reach out to us. We'll be happy to try to answer any questions the best I can. Just remember, if you're going to make a significant move regarding your stack, consult your CPA first. Make sure they understand and you understand what you're doing and understand what kind of tax ramifications you might have from it. Is there anything, can you remember any other questions regarding the video from yesterday that we can answer? The spouse coin question was asked a couple times. I remember. Another gentleman or another viewer, I should say, asked if you trade, if you come in with, let's say, 25 Krugerrands and 1 ounce gold Krugerrands, and you want to trade it for 1 ounce gold Buffaloes, for example, would you have to fill out with a 1099B form be submitted? And I understand that as yes, that to be the case. It's basically two transactions. So you come in and you sell your 25 1 ounce Krugerrands, which would obviously trigger a Form 1099B submission. And then you would purchase with the proceeds that you got from the Krugerrands, the Buffaloes. So, which would then actually trigger a Form 8300 because you're paying more than $10,000 in cash. So you're going to have two forms being triggered at that time point. That's my understanding of it. So I can't remember there being any other questions. Hopefully my explanation of this was very easily understood, because if you read the 1099B packet that the IRS puts out, it's the most convoluted, unnecessarily convoluted piece of text out there, and it's kind of hard to navigate through. And I mean, let's go back to it here. This sales of precious metal section, I've read this like a dozen times, and every time I read it, I think I understand it a little bit differently. So it's just so convolutedly written. It'll take you a while it took me a while to truly be able to digest it, but it's there. It's easily accessible to you if you would like to learn more about it. Any other questions? Is there anything we should talk about from yesterday?
Lots of things about mermaids.
Mermaids, we love mermaids.
Probably have a lot more paperwork if someone actually brought in a mermaid. A lot more paperwork.
So we're in Spring Hill, Florida. Just 8 miles up the road is a town called Weeki Wachee, Florida, and it is the home of the mermaids. And have you gone to the mermaid park yet?
I have not.
Yes. Now these aren't real mermaids, but it is home of the mermaid park. You guys should check it out online. It's pretty cool. You should go, Tim.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, you should go.
Yeah.
So all right, but back to the video from yesterday. Anything? I think we covered everything.
Sounds about it.
That sounds about it. And so we are happy to help if you guys want to buy or sell any precious metals to or from us. Be happy to assist with that. How do we accept payment, Tim?
Cash, wire, Zelle.
Zelle, yeah. Those are the three forms of payment that we accept here at the shop. And we ship throughout the country. We ship via the post office or UPS on the more heavier and expensive items. So that's about it, I think.
Pretty much same premiums as the last time we did premiums.
Yeah, no premium change since Monday. I think that's probably how we're going to move forward. Is we'll do premium videos on Monday, unless and that's it for the week. Unless there's significant movement in the market, which can happen, then we'll update throughout the week. And then as we get questions in from viewers, we'll answer those too. That's what triggered the video yesterday. It was a customer sent us in a question, and so we responded to that. And because sometimes it's just easier to make a video about answering a question, because if one person has a question about something, chances are more people are interested in knowing about it too. So we'd rather just answer those types of things in a video if it's not just like a 1 or 2 word answer. So yeah, I think that's it. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. If we can assist, and we're open on Saturdays too, 9 to 2, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And if there's anything we do for you, please reach out to us. We appreciate all the business you guys have been slinging our way. We're receiving packages every day from you, which we greatly appreciate. And we're sending out packages every day. In fact, I got 2 or 3 more to do yet this morning. So today is Thursday, and here in Florida, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's supposed to be a high of 80 on February 9th.
Well, it's almost baseball season.
It's almost baseball. What is it, 55 days?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
55 days. All right, guys. You enjoy your Thursday, and I hope you guys have a great weekend too. We appreciate everything you guys are doing with us, and we're gonna keep producing content for you guys. You guys have a good one.